Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button. Stay tuned till the end because we've got some really interesting coins to talk about today. Let's jump right in. In the early 20th century, the United States was a nation in transition. It was a time of rapid industrialization, significant social changes, and a world on the brink of World War I. Amidst this backdrop, a humble coin, small in size but rich in history, was minted. The 1914 USA 1 dime. This coin, though often overlooked in casual coin collections, carries a fascinating story that intertwines with the broader history of the country. Today, we'll explore its origins, the design that makes it stand out, its journey through time, and, perhaps most intriguingly, its impressive value in the modern-day numismatic world. Let's start at the beginning. In 1914, the United States was still working with a silver standard in its currency system. The 1 dime, a 10-cent coin, was a vital part of daily commerce. It wasn't just pocket change. It represented the hard work and sweat of American laborers, farmers, and entrepreneurs who were shaping the modern economy. The dime, with its small size and relative value, was a go-to coin for making purchases, whether it was for a loaf of bread, a train ticket, or a newspaper. The 1914 dime was struck during the reign of President Woodrow Wilson, who had taken office in 1913 and was still in his first term in 1914. Wilson's presidency coincided with a time of great economic change in the United States. This was a period where the country was still recovering from the panic of 1907, a financial crisis that had shaken public confidence in the financial system. A few years earlier, the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, marking a major shift in the country's monetary policy. This was also a time when the U.S. was beginning to assert itself as a global power, even as tensions were building in Europe, which would eventually lead to World War I. The coin itself was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time was the principal mint in the United States. The design of the 1914 1 dime was the result of the work of two prominent figures in American numismatics: artist Adolph A. Weinman and engraver Charles E. Barber. Adolph Weinman's design, which had been chosen in 1916, featured the winged Liberty head on the obverse front of the coin, often mistakenly called the Mercury dime due to the resemblance to the Roman god Mercury. This design was part of a broader effort to refresh the appearance of U.S. coins, which had grown outdated by the early 20th century. The winged Liberty head was meant to symbolize freedom of thought and movement, a concept that was central to the country's identity at the time. Liberty's profile is depicted with a winged cap, which represented freedom and the speed at which liberty could spread. It's a symbol that still resonates today. On the reverse, back side of the coin, Charles Barber's design featured a wreath of olive branches and a bundle of arrows. The olive branches symbolized peace, and the arrows, strength and readiness. This design was in line with the country's desire to balance its growing power with the ideals of peace and diplomacy. The year 1914 is prominently displayed on the reverse, which is key in identifying this specific issue. The 1914 dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and has a unique place in numismatic history. At the time, the United States Mint was working under a specific set of regulations and processes that would influence the quality and characteristics of the coins produced. The Mint's operations were overseen by the chief engraver, who would ensure that the dies used for coin production were sharp and properly prepared. The year 1914 saw the production of over 20 million 1 dimes, which might seem like a large number, but when we compare this figure to the rarity and demand for certain key dates in U.S. coinage, it becomes clear that not all 1914 dimes are equal. Over the years, some of these coins have been lost or damaged, while others have been preserved in excellent condition. The state of preservation is one of the factors that can dramatically affect the coin's value today. One thing to note is that while many 1914 dimes were minted, some were never actually circulated and have remained in mint condition. A coin's grade, or its condition, plays a massive role in its value to collectors. For instance, a 1914 dime that has survived in mint state, showing no signs of wear or damage, is incredibly valuable to numismatists. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. Coins in grade 65 or higher are considered high-end, and their rarity can make them exceptionally valuable. In fact, the 1914 dime is not a coin that one would casually find in your everyday change jar, and that's because it has been sought after by collectors for decades. Over time, numismatists have come to appreciate the historical significance of this coin, as well as its aesthetic appeal. The detailed design, combined with its historical context, has cemented the 1914 dime as a sought-after treasure in the world of coin collecting. You might be wondering, what makes the 1914 dime so valuable today? The answer lies in a combination of factors: the relatively low number of high-quality surviving specimens, the rich history surrounding its creation, and its status as a key date in the series. Among collectors, the 1914 dime holds a special place, particularly in higher grades. In its circulated form, the 1914 dime is worth only a few dollars, still more than its face value, but not a significant amount. However, as with many vintage coins, the true value of a 1914 dime becomes evident when you start looking at specimens in uncirculated or mint state condition. Coins in grades such as MS 65 or MS 66 can command far higher prices, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars. But the real surprise comes when we talk about the highest grade coins, particularly those that have been carefully preserved and graded as MS 67 or higher. These coins have been known to fetch prices in the tens of thousands of dollars. And now, for the big reveal, just how much can a 1914 one-dime coin be worth today? If you happen to come across one in excellent condition, particularly in a grade like MS 67, you might be holding a small fortune. A 1914 dime in MS 67 condition has been known to sell for as much as $24,000 at auction, making it one of the most valuable dimes ever to be struck by the U.S. Mint. That's right, $24,000 for a coin that was once worth only 10 cents. This astronomical value is a testament to the rarity of such high-grade coins, as well as the growing interest in numismatics among collectors. For those who are lucky enough to find a well-preserved 1914 dime, it can serve as both a valuable investment and a piece of history. It's not just a coin. It's a tangible connection to the past, a snapshot of the world in 1914, and a reminder of how far the United States has come since then. As we wrap up, it's important to reflect on what makes the 1914 USA one dime so special. It's more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of an era, of a nation on the cusp of greatness, of a world on the edge of conflict, and of a time when a coin could hold much more value than just its face value. The 1914 dime is a bridge between the past and the present, and for those who are fortunate enough to own one, it serves as a testament to the enduring power of history and the fascinating world of coin collecting. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1914 dime, take a moment to appreciate its history. You never know, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. And for those of us who can only dream of finding one, we can still admire this little coin for what it represents. A piece of American history, a piece of art, and a valuable reminder that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest worth. In 1916, the United States was at a significant crossroads. The country had entered the 20th century with a booming economy, expanding industry, and a growing sense of global influence. Yet, as the world was becoming increasingly more interconnected, it was also on the brink of chaos. Europe was embroiled in the horrors of World War I, and the United States, despite its desire for neutrality, was being pulled closer to the conflict. This period of American history was marked by not only dramatic political and economic shifts but also by deep cultural changes. Amidst this turbulent era, a new coin was introduced, a coin that would go on to become one of the most iconic and highly sought-after pieces in American numismatics. The 1916 USA 1 dime. In order to truly appreciate the significance of the 1916 dime, we must first take a step back and understand the broader historical context of the time. The year 1916 was one of great transformation for the United States. World War I, which had been raging in Europe for nearly 2 years, was beginning to impact the American economy and society. Although the U.S. had not yet entered the war, the country was facing growing economic pressures and a changing geopolitical landscape. At home, the country was experiencing rapid industrialization, which was bringing about new opportunities as well as significant social and labor unrest. It was a time when things were changing fast, and that sense of change was reflected in the coins being minted. The 1916 dime was the result of efforts to update and refresh the designs of American coinage. Prior to 1916, the dime featured the barber design, which had been used since the 1890s and was becoming increasingly outdated. The barber coinage had been criticized for its lack of artistic appeal, and many felt that it no longer represented the evolving spirit of the United States in the early 20th century. In response to these concerns, the U.S. Mint sought to bring a fresh, modern design to its coinage. Enter Adolph A. Weinman, an artist who would leave an indelible mark on the world of numismatics. Adolph A. Weinman, an influential sculptor and engraver, was chosen to design the new series of coins, including the dime. Weinman's design for the 1916 dime would become one of the most beloved in American coinage history. The obverse of the 1916 dime features a depiction of liberty, but not the typical, staid representation that had been common on earlier coins. Instead, Weinman's liberty is youthful, vibrant, and full of energy. The liberty head is adorned with a winged cap, symbolizing freedom, swiftness, and the pursuit of knowledge. This design, though it quickly became associated with Mercury, the Roman god of communication, speed, and financial gain, was actually intended to represent liberty herself, personifying the ideals of freedom and progress that were central to the nation's identity. The reverse of the coin, also designed by Weinman, features a wreath of olive branches and a bundle of arrows, representing peace and strength, respectively. The wreath is tied together with a ribbon, which symbolizes unity and the balance between these two forces. The combination of these symbols, as well as the overall aesthetic of the coin, struck a perfect balance between the ideals of peace and readiness for conflict, qualities that were extremely relevant as the United States faced a world war. As we take a closer look at the coin, it's worth noting that the 1916 dime was minted in a world that was undergoing rapid changes. The U.S. Mint at the time was working under increasingly strict regulations and quality control measures, ensuring that the coins produced were both durable and consistent in their design. The minting process itself was highly controlled, with each coin struck under the watchful eye of skilled engravers and technicians. The Philadelphia Mint, which had long been the primary facility for producing coins, continued to operate as the central hub for U.S. coin production. In 1916, the Mint produced a significant number of dimes, but it was far from the only location where coins were struck. The San Francisco Mint, which had begun operations in 1930, and the Denver Mint were beginning to play a larger role in coin production as well. Despite the fact that millions of 1,916 dimes were minted, it wasn't until much later that collectors began to appreciate the true significance of the coin. The 1916 dime was, in fact, the first year of the new design, making it a key date in the Mercury dime series, which would continue to be minted until 1945. But it's not just the year that makes the 1916 dime so valuable. It's the rarity and condition of the surviving coins that have truly made it a collector's treasure point. One of the key factors that adds to the value of the 1916 dime is its relative rarity in high-grade conditions. Although millions of these coins were struck, many of them saw years of circulation, which led to wear and tear. The dimes that survived in near-perfect condition, those that had minimal contact with the elements and remained uncirculated, became highly prized by collectors. As time went on, many of these dimes were either lost or damaged, making those in pristine condition increasingly scarce. As a result, the 1916 dime became one of the most sought-after coins for collectors of Mercury dimes. In the world of numismatics, the value of a coin is not just determined by its year of mintage, but also by its rarity, condition, and the overall demand from collectors. The 1916 dime is no exception. Coins that have been preserved in excellent condition, such as those graded MS-65 or higher, can command prices that far exceed their original face value. A coin in this condition might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but the real prize is found in the highest grades. At the highest level, the 1916 dime has been known to fetch astronomical prices. A 1916 dime in perfect condition, graded as MS-67, can be worth upwards of $23,000 at auction, with some specimens achieving even higher prices depending on the specifics of their provenance and condition. That's right, $23,000 for a coin that once was worth only 10 cents. This high value is a testament to the scarcity of such well-preserved coins and the increasing popularity of numismatics. As more and more people become interested in coin collecting, the demand for rare and historically significant coins like the 1916 dime has only increased. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for the opportunity to own a piece of American history, and the 1916 dime is a prime example of this trend. The popularity of the 1916 dime is also driven by its beauty and artistic design. Unlike many coins from earlier periods, which were often criticized for their lack of visual appeal, the 1916 dime is widely regarded as a work of art. Adolf Weinmann's design captured the spirit of the times, an America that was optimistic, forward-thinking, and full of potential. The Mercury dime is often considered one of the most beautiful coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint, and that artistic appeal continues to drive demand. If you happen to find yourself with a 1916 dime in your possession, it's important to know that its value depends on several factors. The coin's condition, whether it shows signs of wear or remains in uncirculated condition, is the most significant factor in determining its worth. A coin with minimal wear, no scratches or blemishes, and clear, sharp details is the most valuable. Additionally, the coin's certification and provenance or history of ownership can also influence its market price. For those who are just starting their journey into the world of numismatics, the 1916 dime serves as a fantastic introduction to the joys of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned collector looking to add a rare and valuable coin to your collection, or simply someone fascinated by American history, the 1916 dime offers a connection to the past that is both tangible and meaningful. The next time you find yourself with a Mercury dime in your hands, take a moment to appreciate its history. It's not just a coin. It's a link to a time when the United States was on the precipice of great change. And if you're lucky enough to own a 1916 dime in excellent condition, you might just be holding a small fortune. With its iconic design, historical significance, and impressive value, the 1916 USA 1 dime stands as a testament to the beauty and enduring value of American coinage. And who knows? You could be one of the fortunate few to own a piece of numismatic history worth $23,000 or more. In the year 1918, the world was a very different place than it is today. The United States, still in its infancy as a global superpower, was navigating through a period of both rapid growth and deep turmoil. The country was in the midst of World War I, having entered the conflict just 2 years earlier. The war was reshaping the world, both politically and economically, and the United States was transitioning from a relatively isolated nation into an emerging global force. Domestically, the country was experiencing a time of transformation with urbanization, industrialization, and social movements pushing forward in full force. Amidst the intensity of the war, the United States Mint was busy at work, continuing to produce the currency that kept the wheels of the American economy turning. One of the most notable coins produced during this period was the 1918 one dime, a coin that has since become a sought-after item in the world of numismatics. While at first glance, a dime might seem like a mere piece of pocket change, the 1918 dime is much more than that. It represents a pivotal time in American history, both on the global stage and within the nation's own evolving economy. To truly understand the significance of the 1918 one dime, we must first look at the historical context in which it was minted. World War I had a profound impact on the United States, both in terms of military involvement and its economy. When the U.S. entered the war in 1917, it was a nation that was still transitioning from an agricultural economy to an industrial one. The war effort demanded unprecedented production, which led to a boom in factories and labor forces. Women began to enter the workforce in greater numbers, filling roles that were previously occupied by men who had enlisted to fight overseas. At the same time, the country was dealing with the societal strain of wartime rationing, inflation, and the fear of a new world order emerging after the war. In the world of coinage, this was a time of transition as well. The U.S. Mint was actively producing coins to meet the growing demands of a rapidly changing economy. The designs of American coins had been somewhat stagnant for many years, with the Barber series of dimes still in circulation up until the early 20th century. However, as the country moved into the new century, there was a need for a new, more modern look, a coin that represented the ideals of freedom, progress, and strength that were central to America's identity. That's where the 1918 one dime comes into play. The coin was part of the larger Mercury dime series, which was introduced in 1916. The Mercury dime was designed by Adolph A. Weinman, a well-known artist who had made a name for himself with his coin designs. The Mercury dime's design was a dramatic departure from previous U.S. coinage. The obverse, front, featured a depiction of liberty, but not the traditional, stiff portrayal that had been common in earlier designs. Instead, liberty was shown in profile, with a winged cap, symbolizing freedom, speed, and the pursuit of knowledge. This design became widely popular, both for its artistic beauty and its powerful representation of the ideals that America stood for. The reverse back of the coin featured a simple yet elegant design, with an olive branch symbolizing peace and a bundle of arrows representing strength and readiness. This combination of peace and strength spoke directly to the country's position during World War I, a nation that sought to maintain its ideals of peace while simultaneously being prepared for the challenges of war. The Mercury dime, with its striking design and powerful symbolism, quickly became one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The 1918 one dime coin is particularly notable because it was produced during a time of global conflict, just a year before the war ended in 1919. The minting of these coins continued even as the country was deeply involved in the war effort, and it reflects the resilience of the American economy and the resolve of the people during this tumultuous time. In terms of production, the 1918 dime was struck at several U.S. mint locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints played a crucial role in meeting the growing demands for coins, especially as wartime inflation and economic pressure made the need for currency even more urgent. Despite the high production numbers of the 1918 dime, the survival rate of coins from this year in excellent condition is relatively low. Like many coins from the era, the dimes were circulated extensively, which meant that many were subject to wear and tear. This is a key factor in determining the value of the 1918 dime today. As with any collectible item, the rarity and condition of the coin play a huge role in determining its market value. Coins that have survived in mint condition, without being worn down by time or circulation, are the most highly sought after by collectors. One of the defining characteristics of the 1918 dime is the beauty and intricacy of its design. The artist, Adolph Weinman, brought a sense of elegance and sophistication to the coin, which was in stark contrast to the utilitarian designs that had come before it. The profile of Liberty with her winged cap is one of the most iconic images in American numismatics, and it continues to captivate collectors to this day. The design is also highly symbolic, representing the ideals of freedom, progress, and strength. The Mercury dime was not just a coin. It was a representation of American values and aspirations during a time of great uncertainty. Collectors today prize the 1918 dime for its artistic design, historical significance, and relative rarity in high-quality condition. The coin's value, however, is not solely determined by its age or design. As with most coins, the condition of the coin, its grade, is of paramount importance. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor, P1, to mint state, MS 70. A coin's grade takes into account factors like its wear, surface marks, and overall appearance. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1918 dime in average circulated condition, which shows signs of wear and use, might only fetch a modest price, perhaps just a few dollars over its face value. However, when the coin is in uncirculated or near-mint condition, its value skyrockets. A 1918 dime in a higher grade, such as MS 65 or MS 66, can command prices in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins in these grades are rare, as the majority of the 1918 dimes were circulated and show the wear that comes with time. The most coveted examples of the 1918 dime, however, are those that have been graded as MS 67 or higher. These coins, in perfect or near-perfect condition, can sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. A well-preserved 1918 dime in MS 67 condition can fetch as much as $20,000 or more, depending on factors like the specific mint location, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and the provenance of the coin. This value reflects both the rarity of the coin and its enduring appeal to collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for a piece of American history. But the 1918 dime's value goes beyond its monetary worth. It's a piece of a larger historical narrative, a snapshot of a nation in the midst of global conflict, economic change, and social transformation. For collectors, owning a 1918 dime is like holding a tangible connection to the past, a connection to the ideals and struggles of an era that shaped the United States into the country it is today. That if you happen to own a 1918 dime, you're holding a coin that tells a story. It's a coin that was minted during the final years of World War I, at a time when the fate of the world seemed uncertain. Yet, in its small, elegant design, it carries the message of hope, progress, and resilience that defined the American spirit during those years. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just starting to explore the world of coin collecting, the 1918 dime is a piece of history that continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1918 dime, remember that it's not just a coin. It's a symbol of the past, of a nation that faced great challenges and emerged stronger on the other side. And, for those lucky enough to own a high-grade specimen, it's a valuable reminder that history, in all its forms, can hold remarkable worth, both in terms of money and in the stories it tells. A well-preserved 1918 dime, worth as much as $20,000 today, is a true testament to the lasting appeal and value of American coinage.